Hi, it's Kyle from Bitewing Games, and today we're looking at what I think may be the best family game that includes some strategy. I think there's a lot of good family-style games. There's lots of party games and word games. I don't really include that here because I'm thinking of like a strategy game. But lots of people aren't into deep strategy games. But you may want something that's more than Uno or Phase 10, more than just draw a card and lay a card. A game that actually has meaningful decisions. But we want something that's not too lengthy or too complex of decisions or too big of a rule set. We also want something with some player interaction, something that you're really going to interact with the people or family and friends around you. And lots of families are larger, and so we want a game that plays at least 6 players. So we need a short game that has meaningful decisions, player interaction, relatively easy scoring and instructions, and can play at least 6. Boom. Between Two Cities. Now this game isn't that new, but new doesn't necessarily mean great, and old doesn't mean bad. Now this game isn't even that old, but it is that great. In Between Two Cities, you will be working with each of your neighbors. You will be building a city with your neighbor to the left, and a city with your neighbor to the right. So each of you is sitting between 2 cities. Each city will end up as a 4x4 grid of these little building tiles. The tiles come in 6 colors, each of them scoring differently. Yellow scores for a straight path. Blue scores for how many you have total in your city. Red scores for how many unique red symbols you have, and so on. Each player will simultaneously select 2 of the tiles in their hand and place them face down. At the same time, all players will reveal their 2 tiles. With your tiles, you can talk to your neighbor on the right and your neighbor on the left and decide which tile will go in which of the cities. If you put your green here, I will also put my green here. 2 greens. That's 8 points. Booyah! Booyah? What is this, the 90s? Each player will take their hand of tiles and pass it to the player to their side. Players will then select 2 more tiles and lay them in the cities, and you will do that for 3 rounds until you have formed a 4x4 grid. Players will total up the points for the city to the right and the city to the left of them and score points for one of those cities. Now, I know what you're thinking.
Hey man, let's build an awesome city here, and I'll host this guy to my left. What a loser.
Here's the catch. You score for the lower of your 2 cities. So if you score 60 for one city and 15 for the other, your final score is 15 points. So you can't just tank one of your cities intentionally. So let's look at our criteria. A short game, under 30 minutes. Simple, meaningful decisions. You decide which 2 tiles to keep and where to lay them. Simple, but meaningful. Player interaction. You're working with your neighbors. Relatively easy scoring? Relatively. That can play with a larger group. This plays up to 7 players. There are a lot of good games out there. Some for larger groups, some with strategy. And this one fits both of those to a T. It's good for a large group and it still has some strategy in it. I would like to know what your favorite large group strategy game is. Go ahead and let me know in the comments below. Until next time.